God bless, guys.
Pleasure
I'll see
meeting
ya.
you.
Likewise.
Let me see. I'm going to podcast is kind of messed up right now. So I guess we can just stay here. Sammy, I don't know that there will be another one. If the guys all get together and peer pressure me into doing another one, then maybe. So even though we joke about it being a to be continued, it may not be. This was not planned to be multiple. When can we turn this one shot into an anime? I guess I'll be getting to work on that right away. No, I know we joked about doing an animatic or something. Yeah, Sammy, I know it's a cliffhanger ending. Keep things exciting. Yeah, I don't think it's out of place to say there was initially going to be a bit more combat, but it's a Sunday, and we went late, so people need to go, and that's how it goes sometimes. I was prepared for that eventuality. Let me find YouTube Studio. Let me get OBS big. Good clip, though I joined late. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Because, like, it's mainly to, to get people excited for the book. So, that's part for the cliffhanger. You have any plan for other TTRPG sessions aside from this? Well, that depends. Oh no, was I not full screen, or did I just get out of full screen? Was that not full screen, or did I just get out of full screen? I guess it doesn't matter. But that is annoying. So, to answer your question, it depends. If when I upload this, I'm going to add the guys as collaborators, and if it does well, then yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do more. You weren't here at the beginning when I said it, but I've been DMing for 4 years, weekly. I publish homebrew. I have a bunch of homebrew that's written that's just not published yet, either because I haven't gotten around to it or because I don't feel like it's done yet. Here it is. So I would love to do more. I'd love to do more, but it just depends on how people receive it. I know people seem to really like this, so on Twitch at least. So that opens up the door. Do it more! I think, because I know I mentioned in one of the streams, buy the book! Yeah. I know I mentioned in one of the streams that, if I had a monkey's paw and I had to choose between streaming video games or streaming D&D stuff, I'd stream D&D stuff. I really like it. It's really fulfilling for me. In fact, we're doing this one shot, but just this weekend I was doing another one shot with my home game, which is also Pirates and PowerHolders. And we were making characters for that one shot. Level 12 one shot, which is exciting. So yeah, whether it's more One Piece D&D stuff or ordinary D&D stuff, I have stuff prepared. Yeah, do more aside from Pirates and PowerHolders. Do you have any other TTRPG books? Right now, I don't have any other books, but I do have other content available. So right now, other than Pirates and PowerHolders, the only other thing I have is a Bard subclass called the College of the Phantom Opera. I have others that are done, but they're not published. I need to make covers for them, and I need to get around to them. Things are very hectic for me right now. This one shot was supposed to happen last month. Things are hectic. I'm in the middle of moving. I'm starting a new job, so things are very much up in the air. But I have other homebrew that are basically done. They're just not published. But right now, it's just College of the Phantom Opera. But I have... In fact, I mentioned earlier, we almost did, We almost did a one-shot over the summer, And the purpose of that one-shot was actually to playtest and advertise 4 rogue subclasses that I had made. Doing great, buddy. More power to you. I praise 6 in your endeavors. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a very long week. And we're not over yet. But I said this one-shot got rescheduled twice. And I said, come hell or high water, we are doing it today. We're not rescheduling it again. I had 4 rogue subclasses that are done. They are done. They're ready for publishing. I don't think there's anything left to do. I just need to get around to it. I actually have a homebrew class. A full homebrew class called the Shaman class that one of my friends is playtesting for me in our next one-shot that I'm very excited for. There's still a lot more work that needs to go into it, but when it's done, I think it's going to be great. The Shaman is because I was trying to think about, they just released like the Psionic class, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And the reason I hate it, and the reason a lot of new classes fail, is because they step on existing archetypes. If you want to play a Blood Hunter, if you want to play a Scion, you can play them by mixing and matching class features and feats from other classes. They're not unique. When you play the Scion, you don't get to do anything new. And so I got to and so it's just should have been a subclass. And so I got to thinking, well, what archetypes exist in fantasy that haven't been translated into a full class, and that you can't really play? And the answer I came to was the Summoner archetype. I love Summoner archetypes in games and in other things. And although there are summoning spells, there's no class that's solely dedicated to it. Thoughts on multiclassing? I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it personally. My only thought on multiclassing is that it's usually a bad idea. Most classes are not going to benefit from multiclassing. So as I am not opposed to it, but as a rule, if a player comes to me and says, hey, I want a multiclass, I'm kind of like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you want to do that? I had a monk player come to me and say that she was considering multiclassing into fighter, and I said, don't. You get nothing. You're a monk. And the reason she wanted a multiclass was because she wanted Second Wind. She wanted Action Surge and Second Wind. And I said, no, hold on. Just level up, and you can get a feat or an ability score increase. You're a monk. You have plenty of things to do with your bonus action already. I did once have an NPC who was a barbarian monk fusion, and also a rogue monk fusion, and those were fun. I don't have any strong opinions on multiclassing. But it's kind of, if you want to play a Scion, just take the telekinetic and telepathic feat. Boom. Boom, now you're a Scion. You might be a sorcerer, you might be a wizard. Plus the freak, there's a psionic sorcerer already. It's just dumb. Lots of players think multiclassing equals OP. Yeah, and that's because a lot of them don't realize that certain things don't stack. The obvious example is unarmed defense doesn't stack. You get unarmed defense from one class, and from another, they don't stack on top of each other. Granted, there can be some combinations that are pretty powerful, but there are some classes that will benefit you to multiclass into, and there are some classes that don't. And a lot of the time, you're still just better off taking a feat. Like, don't multiclass into Wizard, just take Wizard, and just take Magic Initiate Wizard. Don't multiclass into Fighter, just take Fighting Initiate. Normally, you'll get the same benefit. Multiclassing, it's not good most of the time, but if you're gunning for a very specific character or a very specific build, it can help you to achieve that. The most obvious example for me would be, there's Unarmed Fighting. You can take Unarmed Fighting style as a monk, but again, you can just play a variant human or get a level 1 feat. But if you didn't do that, you could take 1 level in Fighter, and now your punches are D8s. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I wish I could give you more of a timeline, because I have, in my vault, I have a ranger subclass that I'm very happy with, and is basically ready for publishing so far as I can tell. 4 rogue subclasses that are basically done and are ready for publishing as far as I can tell. 2 warlock subclasses that are... might need some tweaking, but they're basically there. And then 10 fighter subclasses based on the elemental planes that are also basically there. What are your plans now? The answer is I really don't have any plans at the moment, because things are hectic right now. to paint you a picture, Sammy, this isn't a secret. So I am currently in the process of moving and starting a new job. It is possible, because I have other applications that are currently out there, it is possible that I might end up starting a different job 2 or 3 months from now. I'm moving to another state. Next month, I'm getting married. Next month is my wedding. The month after that is my honeymoon. And so, like I've said on Twitter, currently daily shorts are suspended, and I'm streaming when I can, but that's not very often. No worries, I understand busy and moving stuff, and I still want to be able to commit even for one shot. Yeah, well, it's like I said, this was planned in advance, and I was saying I will do this come hell or high water, because this was very important to me. This was very important to me. I'm not very good at advertising myself, so I kind of put extra effort into this, which you can see, like this is a different model than the one I normally use. It's similar, it's basically the same, but it is different. I'm using a different overlay. And then of course there's the bounty posters and the reactives. The reactives. Congrats on your engagement towards a new chapter of your life. Thank you. Thank you. We're very excited. It's I want to say it's been a long time coming, but it hasn't been. It's just I wish it were shorter. I was ready. If it were up to me, I would have been married last year. But, you know, we're getting married in the church and there's procedures. I just tossed my pencil across the room. I'm not going to get it. And so this is kind of like I said, if this does very well on YouTube, which has seemed to be doing very well on Twitch, I would love to do it full-time or part-time. I love DMing, and it could be a One Piece thing, or it could not be. I love DMing. I've had people like suggest I become a professional DM, but the thing about DMing professionally is that I hope I'm not calling anyone out here, but as a rule, if someone needs to hire a dungeon master, it's because they're not a very good player. A lot of times, if a person can't find a group, there's good reason for it. Not all the time. Not all the time. But a decent amount of the time. I've heard too many DMing horror stories. I do not want to DM for strangers. And I feel very blessed and very lucky that when I reached out to all of the players who played today, they all accepted, and I didn't have to go out to anyone I didn't know. I reached out to people who I knew and who I thought would be interested, and they all said yes. Anyway, that's a long tangent. The short of it is, if this does extremely well, then yeah, I'm all for, what would you say, restructuring my content. Granted, I'm starting a new job, and planning a campaign takes work. So it wouldn't, if I were to start a campaign, it probably wouldn't actually start for several months. But that's not. Love this amazing community here on Twitch. Yeah. I've met some great folks. And I'm happy to have met them. Yeah, so I'd love to keep doing it, but I'm also, you know, very, like, just speaking bluntly, I'm reaching a point where, you know, I got a wife to take care of, so, although I want to keep streaming, and I plan to keep streaming, and she wants me to keep streaming, and she wants me to keep creating content. What that actually looks like practically, I can't say right now. But it is true that if this does very well, then yeah, there will be more D&D content down the pipeline. If it doesn't do well, then there still probably will be. It'll just be rarer. It'll just be rarer. I will share. I don't think there's anyone who'd be upset. I got a morale boost before stream started because HollowBlossoms, hooray for supportive spouses. Indeed, I don't know if she's still in chat. She was earlier, but she has been very supportive. Extremely. This has been people who follow me know for a while. It's not a secret. This has been a year of sickness and struggle, and she's been with me through that, and I'm very blessed. What was I saying? Yeah. I want to keep doing it. She wants me to keep doing it, but there is also a point where I need to, consider the money. So if people respond well to this, then yeah, absolutely. I will give the people what they want. Whatever they want, I will give the people what they want. They want more games, they get more games. They want more TTRPG, they'll get more TTRPG. That's also why I've been really trying to advertise this one-shot. It's why I've really tried to put my best foot forward with it. So that if the one-shot isn't very successful, if it doesn't get a lot of attention, it's not because of me. It's not because I let something down. This was months in the making. Just the reactives, that was like 3 hours a piece. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. Yeah, so there'll probably, regardless of what happens, there will probably, if you follow my author page on DriveThruRPG, Hikikomori Hermitage, there'll probably be a steady stream of content. It'll be a trickle, especially because I'm busy. I'm especially... Cover is hard. The covers is hard because I don't want to use AI. I'm also not the best artist if it's not like an anime manga inspired thing, and I don't have any money, so cover's rough. Cover's a bind. You're doing what you love, man. It feels like maybe you're calling if you invest so much of yourself into this. Yeah, and I appreciate that because I am an author. I've written. Yeah, how do you want to count it? Just looking at fiction, between 4 and 2 books, depending on how you count it. And then there's another one I've been writing, but because of sickness and stress, I've not been working as diligently on it as I should. But it is true. I love DMing. I've DM'd a home game for 4 years, and I find it very fulfilling. I love DMing. I love it. I prefer it to playing. Because it's so much... It's really... I think what gets me about it, and the fun of it, is that it has the creative aspect. You're being an author. You're creating things. It might just be because there's an immediate feedback, If I write a book, someone might read it, someone might not read it, but I don't get an immediate feedback. But with DMing, there's an immediate feedback. People are reacting to what's happening in real time. And it's very fun and it's very fulfilling, partly because of that, you don't always know what's going to happen next. The last session I did for my players, I had to be prepared for the campaign to end. There were almost 2 TPKs. There were almost 2 TPKs. They encountered a warlord at sea, a warlord of the sea at sea, and they were able to pacify the situation. And then their ship almost got sank by a Sea King. That is something I will say. Something that is definitely on the pipeline in the near future is I want to soup up Pirates Guide to the... Not Pirates Guide to the Sky. Pirates and PowerHolders. I want to soup up Pirates and PowerHolders. I want to add some monsters to the book. I want to do some art for the book. Because I put so much work into Pirates Guide to the Sky. It has art, it has monsters, it has items. And that's the cool thing about DriveThruRPG and digital publishing is I've been updating Pirates and PowerHolders since it came out. I've been updating the rules since it came out. Pretty consistently. And so in the near future I'll be adding seeking I'm tired. I was so stressed about this one shot. Now that it's over, it's such a massive weight off my shoulders. I was so stressed. Have you collabed with any other creators when publishing Pirates? No. So when Pirates Guide, I first wrote Pirates and PowerHolders back in 2020. I initially published it online for free in 2021. In 2023, after updating the rules and playing them, and editing it for trademark and copyright purposes, I published it for sale on DriveThruRPG. And when I published it, it was June of 2024, I think. It was May or June of 2024 when I published it. I started streaming in November of 2023. So at that point in time, I did not have any connections. My first collab was in November of 2024. So this is the first official collaboration with Pirates and PowerHolders. Now, I almost said this earlier, and then I got off track. Apparently, the one-shot that Blossoms did, I think like 2 weeks ago? It wasn't that long ago. I didn't realize this. She told me this today. They were using Pirates and PowerHolders rules, and I didn't know. I didn't know. And that was really cool. That was a massive morale boost, man. Only like 5 people have bought the first book. So apparently one of those 5 people did a one-shot with HollowBlossoms, and that was really cool. That was really cool to find out. But no, because this is the first TTRPG stream. I've done art streams in the past, drawing some of my home group's characters for a project I'm working on for them. Actually, for my bachelor party, I'm making a piece of art for them of their characters as a gift, and drawing the characters that appeared today. But I haven't actually streamed a session of D&D. This is the first one. And as I said, other than this, HollowBlossoms told me that the stream that she was on used at least some rules from Pirates and PowerHolders. Apparently they used a second book called Dungeons and Devil Fruits. It might be a book, it might not be. I don't know. I think it's a podcast, but I don't know if they have a rule book as well. What was I saying? And so I don't know if because I do know that there are other One Piece D&D podcasts on YouTube. I don't know how many of them, if any of them, are using Pirates and PowerHolders rules. Did she say who DM'd the session? No, but I should ask her. I should ask her. I should ask her. That is a good call, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually going to write that down because I need to do that. That is a great call. Thank you. So if other streamers or podcasts have used Pirates and PowerHolders rules, I don't know about it. I don't know. I don't know about it. It could be that there's another one out there that used it, and maybe they even said, in the podcast that they're using it, but I can't watch every single D&D podcast out there. But none of them have ever emailed me or anything saying, hey, we're using your content. Check it out. So today is the only official collaboration that has ever happened. But apparently there was like an unofficial collaboration a few weeks ago on Blossom's channel that I didn't know about. Maybe we can watch Blossom Session with them and get active feedback from a different POV too. Yeah, that would be awesome. Because up to this point, the one playtesting it has been me, because I've been using the rules in my home game. And so I have been actively updating the rules. I've been actively updating rules. So knowing that someone else has used the rules, getting their view on it would be awesome. Because it's gone over plenty of changes in the years. A lot of content has changed, some buffs, some debuffs. I know one of the big changes is when I first wrote the book, I tried making subclasses for the different devil fruit types. And in retrospect, they stunk. They were awful. And so I got rid of them, except for the Logia subclass. The Logia Sorcerer still exists. I think I probably need to tweak the rules, but I haven't had someone play as it, so I can't tweak it. But just reading it, nothing sticks out to me, even after 4 years. But it's also true, like, for example, the Shaman that I talked about earlier, my friend is playtesting it for me, and he's at so many steps in the process. He's come to me with questions, and they really help. They really help. I joked with Blossoms, she needs to tell the guy to review it on DriveThruRPG, so the book can get a review and more people can see it. If he likes it. But I will also say that I've been running the game for 4 years. So in general, I'm very confident in the rules. It's also one of the reasons why I didn't advertise it more when it first came out, is because I wasn't confident in it. But after running the rules on a weekly basis for 4 years, I'm fairly confident in it. Especially with like crew roles, and the navigation table has been awesome. That's something people have praised since it came out. A lot of it is just, you know, like I said, adding items, adding monsters. Because a lot of it will just be monsters from my own campaign. Maybe we can watch Blossoms. Wait, no, you already said that. So, and my characters in Pirates and PowerHolders, it recommends giving your characters hockey at level 8, and my players are level 7 right now, so they're about to get hockey. So then I can playtest those rules, and those rules can be updated. How popular One Piece is, I figure people will consider using Pirates as a reference too. Are the rules solid now, or do you plan to add more? Yes and. In my humble opinion, I think the rules are solid. There might be some weak spots, because I haven't gotten the chance to playtest absolutely everything. I haven't gotten the chance to playtest every single race. I haven't gotten the chance to playtest hockey rules. I haven't gotten a chance to playtest the Logia Sorcerer. And so there's going to be weak spots. I'm going to be very honest about that. But also, in general, yeah, it's solid. The races have been constantly tweaked. Because that's why I say yes and. I'm going to add more to the rules. I'm going to add monsters. That is actively planning in my mind. I'm going to add monsters. A section on monsters. Thanks for this together. It's great. Thanks, Sips. So there's going to be more that add, and for example, in the book right now, there are appendices of rules that I added later. Primarily shipbuilding rules. Shipbuilding rules were not in the book when it first came out, but I've since added shipbuilding rules. And I'm very satisfied with them. And so the book will be... there's always going to be a chance for updates. If I were to like make a highlighter, and I were to highlight areas that I think might be changed in the future in red, or no, if I were to highlight areas that will not be changed and areas that are solid, most of it would be highlighted. There might be little pockets where I haven't gotten to playtest as much as I would like to. But in general, I think it's solid. And as with anything, I altered the language of the book. Originally, when the book was published, the language was a bit more casual, partly because I wasn't confident. And I've since updated the language of the book to be more formal. But in the initial book, I even said, like, look, let's be honest here. We all homebrew a little bit, okay? If you try a rule and you want to change something, these rules are not hard. There's no hard rules in D&D. It's all suggestions. I have a number of homebrew rules that we didn't use today because it's a one-shot. And I'm not going to have someone learn my personal house rules in addition to the base rules of D&D. And so there's always chances for it to be updated, but I would say that one of the benefits is that the people who bought the book when it came out, they still get the updates. You know? So, for example, if you heard during the ad break session, I recently completely overhauled the book. I changed the lingo, I changed the formatting, and I made it so much better. The people who initially bought the book back in 2024 still get the updated version, you know? The 2026 version is much better, it's much more solid. It's not only are the rules improved, but it's more pleasing to the eye. I couldn't tell you how many times I've changed shipwright rules a bunch. The mermaid race has been altered a dozen times. And I hope that it's at a final point. Because I know one of the lessons that I had to learn as a dungeon master was where to value realism and where to value gameplay. Because it can feel nice to add a bunch of dice together and then try to, in order to simulate realism, but realistically you forget. You forget. You forget, or it's too difficult, or it gets too complicated. And so that's one of the, I think maturing as a dungeon master is realizing that the rules need to be simple. You don't want the rules to be too complicated, because if they're too complicated, then people can't actually run them. And so finding lines, but also balancing. So I will say, like, in terms of buffs versus nerfs, there have been a lot more buffs than there have been nerfs. Especially with races. I think when I first started, my view of races was a bit... I didn't have a firm enough grasp on the rules to tell what was powerful and what wasn't. Some of the races might be... I sometimes worry they might be slightly more powerful than ordinary races, but it's also a different setting, so it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the fishman is stronger than an orc, because you're not going to be playing as an orc. The orcs don't exist. So as long as all of the races in the setting are on the same playing field, it doesn't really matter. But also, I don't want them to be too powerful or too weak. It's a lot to juggle. Oh, me. It's 11 o'clock. I can't believe it's 11. Because it's daylight savings, and because I think I hit a wall last night, because I just passed out. So I woke up afternoon today, and this day doesn't feel like it exists. All the time, because I woke... Basically all my time today is spent either preparing for the one-shot or worrying about the one-shot, and then doing the one-shot. So in my mind, it feels like it's like 6 p.m. True, it needs to be simple enough for people to digest it easily. I go for simple TRPG games, efficient, easy to understand. I'm surprised a lot of people are more invested in story or roleplay. Yeah. Yeah, because I know for me, story and roleplay is kind of a big deal. For example, this is my hot take as a dungeon master. I don't watch Critical Role anymore. When people watch Critical Role, a lot of people say, "Well, I want to." They come away with the idea that they want a dungeon master like Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer is a great dungeon master. I don't want to take that away from him. What makes things like Critical Role actually great is the players. The story doesn't mean squat unless the players are invested in it. And so roleplay is extremely important. Because in many ways, in a game like D&D, the players are really the ones who make the story. If you're running an older kind of game, like a more dungeon crawler, then it's a bit different. If you're running a module, players don't have enough agency. Don't have that much agency. That's also one of the reasons why I don't like running modules. I've run modules before, and it's not as fun as running just a homebrew setting. And I think the players feel the same way. Because in my games, I can lay out a map, and they can go anywhere. They might have an active quest, but they can also just abandon the quest. And that may not be a great thing, but they can't do it, and they have done it. But in a module, you know, you can choose not to do the quest, but then that's kind of the end of the module. Obviously, as a dungeon master, you can just, you know, do something else, but if you gather a group of players to play a module, chances are you're going to do the module. And so yeah, the players contribute heavily aside from the DM. Yeah. Because I will say, and I think all DMs would agree with this, one of the best, one of the more pleasurable parts of DMing is when the players just start role-playing with each other, and you just I just get to sit back eating popcorn. It's very rewarding. Because if the players are role-playing amongst themselves, it means that they're invested in the story, it means that they're invested in the plot, and it means that they're invested in their characters and everyone else's characters. Which is the whole thing, that's the whole game. So if your characters aren't role-playing, that tells me you're not invested. And I don't want to say that as a blanket statement, because different players are different. And different players have different preferences in the games they play. Some of them do just want to play dungeon crawlers. And that's fine. You know, different strokes. Different strokes, different folks. Different players have different preferences, and one of the jobs as a dungeon master is to keep that in mind. That was something we did. My players left the starting area. They started in the South Blue, and they entered the Grand Line a few months ago. January. They entered the Grand Line. And before we did that, we did an SBS where they had a chance to talk to me, and I got a chance to talk to them and ask them very plainly about their preferences and what they liked and what they didn't like. But that was something I wanted to emphasize when Pirates and Powerholders first came out, and still now, is that the goal of Pirates and Powerholders, the book, is to establish a skeleton. It doesn't flesh out the skeleton. It's a skeleton. Yo ho ho ho. The purpose of Pirates and Powerholders is to give you a foundation to build off of. From that perspective, Pirate's Guide to the Sky is much more meaty. It gives you more details about the factions, and the world, and the items, and even having a full adventure. It gives you more meat. It gives you more information. Whereas the purpose of Pirates and Powerholders is just to give you broad strokes that you can fill in the details of. That is one of the changes I made in the 26th edition, is I added more details. But, giving a structure for the world. Because, for example, in my homebrew game, I have 7 warlords. They're not the 7 warlords from the series, though. I've got 4 emperors, but they're not the 4 emperors from the series. It's the same structure, but it's the same structure as One Piece, but the details are different. There's no Luffy. There's no Crocodile. There's no Big Mom. And that is something I might do in the future. Is maybe publish some of those adventures from my own home game. One of them in particular, I definitely want to do. We did a Resident Evil inspired dungeon, a horror dungeon, and it was very effective, and I'm very happy with it and how it turned out. And my notes from that are detailed enough that I could just, I need to reformat it, but I could publish it with very little changes. It's especially memorable because, to be blunt, one of our players died in that dungeon. He died. So that dungeon sticks heavily in the minds of my players. Jeez, how is it 11? Resident Evil Inspires, did you stream it? No. No, like I said, this is the first TTRPG stream I've done. I told Blossoms beforehand. I was so nervous that something was going to go wrong, because I haven't streamed TTRPG Roll20 before. I've played it, I haven't streamed it. No, that was for my home game. They found an abandoned world government laboratory. And there was a monster in it, obviously. I'm pretty proud of how that dungeon turned out, because one of the struggles in D&D, it can be hard to make your players afraid sometimes. And so I designed a monster that could slip through the vents. And so not only could it ambush them, but if the creature ever was in actual danger of being defeated, it could just zip through the vents and escape. And so they functionally couldn't kill it, but they were always afraid of it and aware that it could be nearby. Because it had regeneration. So it was basically, what's the name of that one guy? Mr. T. He was basically Mr. T. Unkillable. He chases you, he's unkillable, he's difficult to escape, and you can't really defeat him. Mr. T was a giant tentacle monster. Using horror as a device is really tricky, especially when you're trying to invoke the feeling of fear. Yeah, it is. So I spent a lot of time thinking about that. And how I could create a monster that made my players afraid. Afraid of death. That's the thing, right? Afraid of death without necessarily killing them. While also the creature itself appearing to be invincible, but not actually being invincible. Which is that's actually something that I am thinking about right now, and something I want to get better at, is repeat villains. Because I was thinking about villains, and making villains that are more memorable. Because I feel like a lot of times they get reduced to just a boss fight. And that's something I'm trying to figure out in my stories, is how I can create a villain that can interact with the players multiple times without being defeated. Trying to create those circumstances. It's a challenge. Because it needs to be circumstances where the villain can escape, but also where the heroes can escape, so the heroes can then also go after the villain. Again. I'm especially thinking about that because their next story arc is... I don't know if it's similar to Alabasta. I don't know if it was inspired by Alabasta. But it's similar. My voice is getting out. Once I edit this will probably be edited into a separate short video. Oh. None of my friends are alive. Okay, so I guess there's no raid. Alright, well that's fine. I need to eat. I need a lot of things. I need to decide on the order. I need to edit the VOD, I need to make a thumbnail, I need to do lots of things, but they don't necessarily have to be done today. It's the beauty of it. It's been a blast, Wes. Thanks for chatting with me. Thank you for chatting with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm happy to answer questions, and obviously, asking questions shows interest, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you being interested enough to ask questions at all. None of my friends are live, so I don't think we'll raid anyone. I think we'll just, call it. Oh, sorry. I got notifications. They're planning the next Catholic raid train, but there's no way that's gonna work. There's no way that's gonna work. I'm pretty sure both the dates they're suggesting are on my honeymoon. So yeah, I guess we'll call it. I hope to see a lot more of this type of content in the future, but now go ahead and enjoy that new chapter of your life. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. I will try. I will try. But last plug before we go, and we put this in the rearview mirror. Pirates and PowerHolders is a One Piece inspired TTRPG setting for 5th edition. The main book itself has about 20 races, and a full list of rules, including power fruits, hockey, shipbuilding, and navigation. Today, we got to feature Pirate's Guide to the Sky, the newest and biggest expansion. featuring 6 new races, 3 new backgrounds, over 50 items and monsters, and a full adventure for a party of level 5. All of the races that were featured today come from that book. HollowBlossoms. It was actually relevant, but I neglected to bring it up because we were trying to wrap it up. She played one of the backgrounds from the book, that being the archaeologist background. The iron net that Eric's used, that's also an item in the book. All of the monsters, including the monsters that you didn't see, came from the book. So if you want that content, if you want more of it, if you want to play as a little robotic child, if you want to play as someone who can be stabbed through the back but remain standing through will, if you want the power of mantra, the power to attune yourself with your surroundings, to perceive, and also to dodge, that didn't become relevant. You can use mantra on deck saves. I forgot to. If you want to do any of those things, or if you want to play as a wolf, you can play a Gavolfin race. That's also in the book. If you want more information about the mysterious craft they found at the end, that's also in the book. If you buy the Pirates and PowerHolders complete collection for $14 on DriveThruRPG, you will get Pirates and PowerHolders, the first book. You will also get the Gorgonia Tribe Race expansion. You will also get the Fishman Master Monk subclass. And you will also get Pirate's Guide to the Sky for free. This value only lasts until the end of March. After that, the price will be increasing. You also get any updates to the content, as well as any source books that are published in the future, specifically source books. The content is continually being updated in response to playtesting and critiques, as well as my own personal games. But as you saw today, they are perfectly fit for play. Crew roles, navigation rules. All of it is yours in Pirates and PowerHolders on DriveThruRPG. Links in the description, as always. Links will also be for all of the lovely people who helped me out today. All of my dear friends who I appreciate taking time out of a Sunday. Several of them in busy seasons of their own. So some love for them. It's 11 o'clock somehow. I need to eat. I have plenty of things to do. Thanks everyone for stopping by. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. Follow me on X for life updates. Follow me on YouTube to see streams. And also, analyses. We have analyses. If you want to watch a dispatch analysis, we put that up a while ago. We had some Metaphor Refantasio analyses. And more in the future, because those videos did really well, and I like doing them. Daily shorts we used to do, and they should be back at some point, but I'm busy. Daily shorts on YouTube and Instagram. Not right now, but probably again soon. I need to get a script and memorize it. That'll be all. Streams are not regularly scheduled because I'm starting a job soon. But there are streams here on Twitch TV/WestofLords _ instead of spaces. That's everything. I think I've mentioned everything. I'm exhausted. I'm going to go. Thank you again, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.